Hello, fellow travelers. I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. Right now I'm in Shanghai,
Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm in Perth, Australia, Manila, in Shannon, Ireland. Right now I'm in Shanghai. I need to make my way to Frankfurt. I'm in Minsk. Hello from Ho Chi Minh City. Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia. I am in the Singapore Changi Airport on my way to Sydney. Pick up the flight to Brussels. Here goes.
In New Orleans.
Munich. I'm on my way to Hong Kong. I'm in London, England, on my way to Boston, Massachusetts, but not for long. I'm headed to Honolulu. It is early morning here in Seoul.
I'm here in Austin, Texas.
I made it to Kuala Lumpur. Today I'm in Frankfurt. I'm on my way to the top of the Atlanta Air Traffic Control Tower in order to understand how this amazingly complex system works. Majuro to Khosrae to Kwajalein to Chuk. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Good morning from Tokyo. I have come to Hamburg, Germany, which is a beautiful city, maybe a little bit more beautiful in the summer than the winter, but whatever. I've made it to Bali. Greensboro, North Carolina. Hello, jet setters. I am so excited about this very first major live stream. This is my first time using this setup, so you'll have to bear with me as I get everything comfortable. I want to say first, thank you so much for all of your support through the years. I cannot believe that we struck this milestone of 250,000 subscribers. It means the world to me that so many of you have supported the channel, whether that's with a comment or a like or a subscription. I've got to tell you, this number kind of snuck up on me. I was really hyper-focused on 100,000 a couple of years ago, and this one just kind of arrived, and it really took me by surprise. So thank you all for the opportunity to have the best job in the world, and even better, to take you along with me. That is just unbelievably meaningful to me. So here's the plan for today. I am going to share with you some of the photos that you've sent in to share on this live stream. So I asked for some of your best travel photos, and you overwhelmed me with what you shared. So that's really exciting. I'm going to do that. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions that came in via Instagram and Twitter that seem like questions I get a lot. So I'm going to dig into some of that. And I'm also going to give you a sneak peek into what's coming on the channel, so some upcoming videos. I'm going to do my best to keep up with the chat as it is flying by, so thank you to all of you participating there, but it is really going like crazy, so thank you for all of those messages. But let's jump right in to the first of several photos that were submitted. So let me jump over here and share this one here. This is Cooper, and Cooper sent in his approach into Anchorage. I think you'll agree that's one of the most stunning approaches out there, and Cooper did a great job of capturing what appears to be a Delta flight down into Anchorage. Now, how many of you watched the Wilderness to Waikiki adventure that Suzanne and I shared, which was a ton of fun to do? And we saw a similar view right there. So thank you so much, Cooper. But I want to jump over to another photo, and this is a pretty special one. I think many of you will remember my very good friend, Blake Edgington, who recently chose to focus more on his family than YouTube for all the right reasons. So we certainly miss his videos, but it's great to see him, and that means a lot that you'd share this picture of Suzanne and me from your visit to Washington, D.C. So thank you so much, Blake. We love you. And yeah, Bradley, send in photos. I think this seems to be working pretty well, so maybe we'll do... maybe we'll do some more live streaming. This is kind of a fun show. We can come up with some more structure and that kind of thing. So if you have photos or even ideas about how to make this live stream better, send them to livestream@greenergrass.com. So livestream@greenergrass.com is a great way to share your thoughts about this format, and then also your photos for future live streams, because this, at least so far, seems to be fun. Although 3 of you have already given me a downvote. I mean, we're not even 4 minutes in. That's too bad. But, you know, we'll take what we can get. Any engagement is good engagement on YouTube. Let's do this. Let's jump over to our first question. And that question comes from Shuri Bear over on Instagram, who asked about the next train video. I've seen several folks in the chat say that they have joined in because of those Amtrak videos, and I agree. So I want to share kind of a little bit of background about that, which actually feeds into the second part of your question here, Sherry Bear, about Suzanne, my wife-to-be. We're not quite married yet, but very soon. We're super excited. So it was June of 2020, and we were here in Greensboro, North Carolina, just itching to travel and looking for some idea of where to go and what to do. And Suzanne suggested that we hop on Amtrak to Glacier National Park. And I'll be honest, I was a somewhat reluctant Amtracker. And Suzanne encouraged me to do it, and it was so spectacular. That first trip, I think the whole trip was like a 3 or 4 day long weekend out to Glacier National Park, but it felt like 2 weeks of relaxation because of the pace of the train. So to answer your question, hopefully the next train video is coming very soon. I'm not exactly sure when that'll be. I have a couple of ideas about trains that I'd like to share with you on the channel and bring you along. So more to come, but I'm not exactly sure when they'll be. And then Suzanne is definitely the more lighthearted of the two of us. I love when she participates in the videos, but more to come about her role here real soon. Hey, what do you say we check out another picture? And that is Ben shared this amazing 777, this American Airlines 777, which somehow he got in a great photo. Oh wait, it's a flight sim. Here on the Greener Grass live stream series, we will take any photos we can get, whether they be real or flight sim. So Brambles does not like my shirt. This is a classic Jeb shirt. I've worn this in many videos, but we'll certainly improve on it for the next time. How about that? Hey, GTX Swiftly, thank you. The first video you watched was that Air Azores A310 video. That was a pretty crazy video. And I should mention, a lot of people ask me about my worst experience and in the air. And I don't want to say that was the worst experience, because any chance I get to travel is one I'll take. But that was one of the most challenging videos I've ever made for a lot of the reasons that are explained in that video. So thanks for watching that one. Okay, let's jump back over here. Let's take a look at another question. What do you say? How about this one? All right, J Jackson 865. What job would I take in the airline ecosystem, the airport ecosystem, if I could have it? Well, this leads into the next video. So next weekend, I plan to share an Airports Revealed episode about Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, SEA. It was so much fun to put together, and Wilson gets it. See, Wilson likes my shirt. Thank you very much, Wilson. But back to it. SEA. That video, I'm still working on the final edits of it, but I think it's going to be really cool peeking behind the scenes of Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. And what I loved particularly about that video was the opportunity to spend time with the airport operations team. Without a doubt, Jay Jackson, that would be my choice, would be to work in airport operations. It seems like those videos, or those jobs rather, are the ones that touch kind of every corner of an airport. And I think that would be just dynamic. So if you saw my video about Cincinnati, I got to interview Chris Sundley, who was in airport operations there, and had a lot of fun with him. And then my time with the folks up at SEA kind of verified that. So yes, my dream job would be in airport operations if I didn't already have my dream job, which was sharing these experiences with you on YouTube, which is crazy. So I see that Blake Edgington has joined us. And Blake, I'm sorry you missed your photo. I'll just pop it up here real quick. Loved hanging out in Washington, D.C. all those years ago. So definitely good stuff. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, if you have ideas or photos to share on a future live stream about how we can make this even better, other than changing my shirt, send them to livestream@greenergrass.com. All right, let's jump into another picture. I love this one. This is a Delta 717, a flight from Rochester, New York, down to Atlanta, and we got this in from David. So thank you so much, David, for sending in the picture. I think sitting back here and seeing the engine is pretty epic. Not to mention that sun really coming in nicely. So, all right, let's take a look at what Max sent in. I've got to get some help here, guys. I don't know my business jets well enough. So tell me, What is November 4460 Juliet? What type of aircraft is this? I'm checking the chat. Who knows? I'm looking. I'm liking. I'm waiting for some answers. It looks like I'm not the only one who doesn't know what this is. So thank you very much, Max, for sending in this picture of a really spectacular looking business jet that we will share. Hey, another question just came in from David Browning, Bearded Yard Guys. Yeah, collaborations with other YouTubers. I used to do a lot of them with, and I just saw the aircraft type was a Learjet 45. Thank you so much for those answers. I used to do a lot of collaborations when travel was more feasible, and that was a lot of fun. Truly one of my very closest friends, even to this day, is Dennis Bunnick. We chat a lot, offline. He's a really, really good friend of mine who I admire, and I can't wait to hang out with him and Paul Stewart and Paul Lucas and Blake Edgington and so many other folks who I'm forgetting. But yeah, collaborations are so much fun on YouTube, and the reason is the reason is simple. Obviously, we all share a passion for aviation and travel and all those kinds of things, right? But then there's also a certain kind of quirkiness that goes along with a willingness to put yourself out there on the internet the way that we do. So we have a lot in common. So those collaborations are fun. I'll say this, Paul Winging It Lucas and I hope to get together when he comes to the States in the fall. So if we can work that out, we'll certainly be hanging out together, and I'm sure that there'll be some videos to share out of that experience. So let's go back in. Another question that we got in, which actually I want to go here first. And this is probably the most common question I get. How do I afford to travel and make these videos? So the reason I picked this one, this particular version of the question from Colbster 122, is because he said he liked my videos. So thank you. In all seriousness, so I started YouTube as a full-time working in the consulting kind of space. So I traveled a lot for work. And I used to watch videos by Sam Chui and Luxury Travel Expert and Dennis Bunnick and so many others, Paul Lucas, Simply Aviation. I used to watch these videos as a means of entertainment. I didn't really watch television, I watched these videos. And it occurred to me that maybe that'd be a nice way to expand my skill set and try new things by making my own videos. And so I made one with Air France in La Première on the A380 from Dulles to Paris. I was headed to a conference in Porto, Portugal. And so I put that video out several years ago, and it really grew. And then I started making more videos with work-related travel, and eventually, because of, quite frankly, you all watching videos and liking videos and commenting, and the YouTube algorithm engaging with the content that I was creating, I started to make money with advertising. And so now, how do I afford to travel? It's really through YouTube. It's a crazy story that I cannot possibly believe in some ways. I mean, it blows my mind that I have this job. And again, as I started the broadcast, I know some other folks have joined us, so thank you for making this possible. I wake up every morning and almost have to pinch myself that I have this opportunity to produce these videos and share them with you and take you along on these journeys. I would do it. I can't believe how fortunate I am, and I thank each and every one of you. But it's not all fun and games, which brings me to the next question, which is, do you edit your own videos? And thank you so much for this question, TJ. I think the answer, well, I know the answer is yes. So if you think about my job doing this work, there are any number of kind of component parts to it. But one is I've got to plan the travel, and I'm so fortunate that your creative director, my wife-to-be Suzanne, is a master planner. So she does a really good job of helping sort through how to put together trips that create videos. Then there's the shooting the video, and then there's the producing, editing the video. And my favorite part by far is editing the videos. I really have enjoyed learning how to do that. It's a new skill for me. I have no background in it whatsoever, but it's been a really fulfilling creative outlet for me. So yeah, I do edit the videos. So the answer to that, I sort of think these two questions fit together. How do I afford the travel, and do I edit the videos? I mean, I work really hard on this content, and every video takes a full week really to edit, because it's just, I really work hard on it. So it takes about an hour of like heads down editing time per finished minute. That doesn't include all the other stuff that goes into it, but it's a lot of work, and I find it incredibly fulfilling. Obviously, number one, I love the travel. I love going places and seeing the world. But the number two reason I love YouTube and this opportunity is the opportunity to edit. So thank you so much for that question. Hey, I saw a great question, which I'd love to touch on. How did I come up with the name Greener Grass? So this is not a pre-submitted question, but I will go ahead and answer it. Greener Grass. I was working for a consulting company in Phoenix, Arizona in the mid-2000s, and they came up with a new service offering. And without going into details about what it was, it doesn't really matter. I came up with this really great idea to call it Greener Grass, because it was this optimistic thing, and everybody's always looking for the greener grass, and it's on the other side of the fence. So let's go find the greener grass. So I went out, I bought the domain name greenergrass.com and brought it to my boss, and I said, here's the idea. And he said it was the dumbest name he had ever heard of. So I had this domain name and nothing to do with it. So I held on to it for years, and then when I first started making YouTube videos where I appeared in them, I sort of thought I needed to say I was from somewhere. And for some reason, I decided Jeb Brooks from Greener Grass sounded pretty good. And so now, no joke, people will stop me in airports and that kind of thing and say, "Hey, you're the Greener Grass guy." And sure enough, I really do appreciate when anybody says hello. But that's the story behind greenergrass.com. But let's take a look at some more pictures. This is an amazing one. This is an Emirates A380. I think everybody on here probably recognizes that. But it is from Michael, who works at the Ottawa airport, which is really cool because that is an unusual view of an Epic airplane. And just as a little bit of a heads up, there might be somebody on this live stream whose face is on your computer or mobile phone or television who has a flight booked on an Emirates A380 coming up very soon. So keep an eye on the channel like that. But again, I'm going to share a sneak preview of some of the videos that are coming down the pike at the end of this session. So be sure to stick around so you can find out what's coming next. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's look at another photo. I'm really excited about this one here. That is Decker hanging out at the Connie at the TWA Hotel. Decker is a solid 8-year-old viewer of greenergrass.com and everything. So definitely love seeing that TWA Hotel. I recently stayed there, as some of you may know. And got to check it out, but I'm glad to see that Decker got to see it as well. So awesome. Thank you so much to you and your mom for submitting that photo. Question from Jared: do I still do lawyer stuff? The answer is no. I don't. I went to law school. I had a great experience doing that. In fact, last night I had dinner with one of my classmates. Definitely enjoyed it, but the practice of law was not my cup of tea. Little insight in the channel. I am not a detail-oriented person whatsoever. I don't see details. I can't even fathom that they exist in a way, which is where Suzanne, yet again, is a critical member of the team, because she watches my videos for those details that frequently commenters say they enjoy, that I miss. So really, this is a team effort, and I am so grateful that in her free time, Suzanne is able to help a little bit with making the channel what it is. So it's definitely not me. But that's the answer to the question. I do not do lawyer stuff anymore. simply because nobody would want to hire me as a lawyer, and I couldn't have done it anyway. Hey, my man Gilbert Travels is on. Hey, Billy. Loving your new stuff. Good to see you on here. If you haven't already, go ahead and open a new tab and check out Billy Gilbert's channel, Gilbert Travels. Good stuff on there. All right, let's jump over here to another question. Yeah, this one came on Twitter, and I will sum it up. And it's basically saying that after 9/11, a lot of travel shifted with a security focus. And the question from Mike is around what I think those shifts are going to look like because of COVID protocols on the back end of this. And that's a great question. And I'm going to preface it by saying I have no idea, but I'll give it a shot. I think that what happens is psychologically we start to get comfortable with certain experiences, and so taking off my shoes in security is something I'm used to, unless I'm TSA pre-check, and then I'm not. And so we sort of get used to that, and I think there'll be a lot of that on the back end of this in terms of travel. I think your point is a fairly good one, that airlines have used this current situation to pinch their pennies. I think there's also some really serious challenges with labor and finding people. I see this in meals. So many folks are focused on the airlines cutting meal service. Well, the reality is the cost of meals in airlines is like minuscule. The food costs are very, very small. It's the labor, finding people to put those meals together, that's been a challenge for a lot of airlines. I think you raise a great question, Mike, around what the future is going to look like. And, we still are restricted in terms of the amount of liquids we can bring onto an airplane because of an incident, whatever that was, 10 years ago. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds. But the one thing I'll say, and I know that I'm preaching to the choir in this group, is don't forget these frontline employees, when we're traveling, are working hard. And it may not seem like we're getting what we used to get, but a lot of those decisions are well and truly above their heads in corporate boardrooms. And so please don't take that frustration out on those employees. But I know, again, I'm preaching to the choir here. We're too enthusiastic to get too upset. So thank you so much for that question, Mike. I really appreciate it. Hey, really quickly, I get a lot of questions about another hobby of mine that sneaks in kind of a surreptitious way. I see it coming through in the chat. I got a lot of questions, so I'll just touch on it quickly. Yes, travel is my number one passion, but a close number two is watches. I love timepieces. I love the technology, the aesthetics, the mechanics and the history that go into keeping time on this little tiny machine on your wrist. It's a strange hobby, but I love it. So yeah, I particularly collect watches that have some kind of a travel complication to them, that tell stories, or that I can track more than one time zone, because it's always nice to know if I'm somewhere what time it is at home, or vice versa. So I absolutely love that very much. Okay, let's see here. I really just want to take a quick moment and say thank you so much for all these super chats. I definitely appreciate those. They are awesome and so much appreciated. I will say that when we do another live stream, I'll have kind of a different setup, so I'll be able to see some of this a little bit more clearly. Also glad to know I'm not the only watch enthusiast who is also a travel enthusiast, so it's good to know that that is connected. Hey, let's do this. Let's jump over to some more photos. So this is my man Justin. We were together on the 777, Delta's 777 retirement, which was a really bittersweet experience, but great to meet you. Justin, and good to see you here. Thank you so much for submitting this photo. All right, here's another one. This is from Tino, who shared a beautiful picture of an Australian sunset. Oh my gosh. That is a fantastic photo from the air. I love sky pictures. And If any of you are in Australia, I miss you guys so much. I cannot wait to come back down. I saw somebody asking about Tassie. I love Tasmania. In fact, you probably can't quite see it, but right there, is a map of an old map of Tasmania, one of my favorite places in the world. So definitely hope to come down soon when borders eventually open, and do some more videos and just spend some time down in Australia and the rest of the world for that matter. Okay, question number 6. What advice do I have for people who want to fly as much as I do? And I've got a lot of thoughts on this. And there are a number of ways you can do it. And I am not somebody who can advise you on credit card strategies and that kind of thing. There are tons of resources on the internet out there from people who are far more expert than I am. I'm just a guy who uses them, but I wouldn't feel comfortable giving you advice other than if you choose to use credit card points as a mileage strategy, make sure you pay the credit card off every month. Don't go into debt to get points for travel. That's just not a good idea. Make sure you pay that credit card off every month. That's my number one piece of advice for that. So that's one strategy, to maximize the credit card game. The other strategy is simply to save your money and choose to invest in travel. I know so many people who do this. There are loads of people who save up and then they buy a nice car, or they buy some cool toy or something like that. And those are amazing things, and I think that's great if that's what you want to invest in and want to spend money. I think that there are other folks who save their money up and invest in travel. And it's like the old cliched line, travel is the only thing you can spend money on and get richer. I think there's some truth to that, unless you think about good stocks or something, but whatever. I think that travel is a fantastic thing. So that's another component. Just save your money and do it. Travel. The third bit of advice I'd have for you is a little bit more difficult right now, but it's how I got started. And that was to have a job that required travel. So I highly recommend that you consider looking at careers like mine, like consulting, or even working in the airlines that could really help with that. So help to facilitate travel. And when you find a job like that, I really recommend that you that you then time your trip so that you can have a little bit of extra time wherever you're going. So those are my bits of advice. Now, what I would love to do is to share a little bit of what's coming up on the channel. So let's jump into that. I have a spreadsheet here that kind of shows you a little behind the scenes action. And I'm going to look over the screen and kind of talk to it. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm just focused on what I'm sharing with you. So what this does is kind of outline some of the videos that we've gotten created and that we hope to share, we plan to share with you. Seattle Airports Revealed, I told you that that's what's coming next week. So I'm really excited about that one. It's another behind the scenes at one of the fastest growing and most incredible airports out there, SEA, Seattle Tacoma International. From there, I've got a little Delta video. I haven't shared a lot of Delta content lately, even though I kind of have a reputation of being a big Delta fan. And I will say that Delta Airlines, and this is a very controversial thing, and I reserve the right to edit the way it comes out of my mouth. Delta Airlines have not been as impressive lately as other airlines that I've experienced. Let's put it that way. So I'm excited to put a Delta video out and kind of share my experiences with Delta that have been good, as well as some developmental opportunities when I compare them to other airlines. Thinking about doing a Transcon Throwdown, we've certainly created enough content to have first-class videos from all the major airlines. That could be fun. I'm not 100% sure because I might want to bring these this international series up a little sooner. So you see, I traveled out to Paris and then over to Greece. Actually, the first boat trips to be on the channel will be coming out really soon. I can't wait to share those. Some ferries in Greece. So I had a blast trying out trains. Boats were just as much fun, so something a little experimental on the channel, always fun. And then finally the return on Air France La Première. That's the first class. It was truly one of the most amazing flights of my life. There have already been 2 perfect Jeb scores, 2 flights with perfect Jeb scores. I'll give points to anybody who can name them. If you send me an email at livestream@greenergrass.com with those 2 flights that were perfect scores, I will send you a prize. How about that? So I think that we're going to have a third in the La Premiere video, but I haven't edited it, so we'll see. Okay, so I really appreciate everybody tuning in. This has been so much fun to live stream with you. We've reached the end of the half hour, which was my commitment. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here and say thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it. The gratitude I feel for having reached a milestone of 250,000 subscribers is overwhelming. I have a hard time putting it into words, and my gratitude goes to each of you for not only engaging with the channel, but also participating here and making it possible for me to have these opportunities, and most importantly, to share them with you. So as always, thanks so much. Between now and the next time, see you on the live stream, I guess. All right. Bye, guys.